Hey, folks. Uh, Welcome again. Thanks for joining me. Um, as you can see, I've kind of taken my room apart. My guitars and guitar board are all down. My guitars are in the next room, but I'm going to sell off some of those too. I'm getting ready to move. I've officially retired, filled out my paperwork, finished it today, as a matter of fact, and turned it in. I'm excited about that. It just feels good. Excuse me. Um, And so we're moving out of here. Got to get this place cleaned up, and these walls that are painted black behind me, which I really like. In here, the other walls are kind of cream color. Um, but the owner of the house, let me just close this door. Not the owner, the rental agency wants it back the way it was. So we've got to paint a couple of walls this cream color, which I think is kind of bland, but they like it. Anyway, we've got to repaint those. So I got the guitar board down, gave it to another guitarist, just gave that thing away. I'll build another one eventually. Um, anyway, I'll keep coming at you. But this week, I want to mention, first of all, next week's plan. So next week, I'd like to talk about the New World Order and one world government. I want to just express a few thoughts about that, and I would encourage you to too. If you have questions or concerns about the New World Order, which is coming, you can post them down below here in the comments, or you can personal message me. Either way, just so we can get your thoughts in. And then another, this is very exciting to me, is my partner, who has gone unnamed, has contacted me and has agreed to join me in this. So hopefully next week this will be a conversation between the two of us, and then we'll figure it out. Or maybe if anybody knows, what I want to know is how to do a live Facebook post with two people. I don't know if that's possible in two different locations. So if anybody knows how, but I'll be looking that up this week, and he will. We might have to do it as a YouTube podcast, and then transfer it to Facebook, or transfer a link to it on Facebook. Anyway, we'll figure that out. I'm very excited. He's incredibly intelligent, experienced, done a lot of study on his own. So I'm excited to have him with me. I look forward to it, my friend, a great deal. And I'd also like to give a shout out to a couple of people. Javier Clark, who mentioned something about me, basically, on my last site, and also Richard and Danny, two good friends of mine, also. Thank you very much. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for visiting the site and watching the video. Javier has his own site called We Are Columbia. I advise you to go to it. He's got a YouTube channel, just brand new, just started. He's an entrepreneurial kind of guy. He's had several businesses in the past. He just likes to get out and get things done. He's now living in Colombia, his home country, and is trying to promote their tourism. He's a sharp guy. I think he'll pull this off. He's got a beautiful piece of land there himself that you can go and stay on. Anyway, I'd suggest going to his sites, We Are Columbia. Let's see, somebody else mentioned something about going to their town and working, that there were plenty of jobs. And that's true. There were jobs that I looked at both in California and Utah, actually multiple states in the United States. It just wasn't feeling right, if I can say that. None of them felt right. And every time I went back to, I'm going to retire, it just felt right. It felt peaceful. So that's what I'm doing. Another shout out, if I can, real quick, that I'd recommend, if you're into studying this stuff, is to go to the Intellectual Dark Web, IDW. They have a Facebook page. These are very intelligent discussions, almost always politically motivated, and they are conservative. So if you're not conservative, it's still, I think, a good idea to listen to other people's views and hearing what they have to say. And then there's another thing called the Epoch Times, which I haven't really investigated, but he sounds very intelligent. A little bit of him that I have seen, or of them that I've seen, and I'll go to that and look at it as well. Today is sort of another introductory video, which I apologize for. This is basically my third introductory video. But I was kind of getting used to this whole speaking to the camera thing, which is a little weird. I think you've all done this before. Everybody's done this, leaving a message on your answering machine and stuff like that, and it always sounds canned. It doesn't sound very real. And I want to be able to talk basically to nobody out there and to everybody, and still have it sound real. So anyway, next week will be exciting. We'll discuss the one world government. We'll discuss the coming new world order that everybody is introducing in politics, and see what we think about it. But like I say, please feel free to post your comments here for me until we can have phone calls coming in. What I want to discuss today is what if everything you thought you knew in quotation marks, what if everything you learned was false? And I mean literally everything. What if literally everything you knew was false, that you thought you had a handle on life and on history and on how things are supposed to be, and then you started finding out that things were wrong? How would you feel about that? How would you progress forward? This is kind of what took place in my life. Not kind of, it is what's taken place in my life. There's a lot of people who take the time to study the September 11th Twin Towers bombing in New York City, or they study the moon landing. Those are big ticket items that they study, and then they start scratching their heads and they come away saying, there's no way we went to the moon. Or they're looking at 911 and they say, okay, those planes didn't take those buildings down. That's not even possible. But everything else, they're cheering on their team. Whether their team is the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, the Libertarian Party, the Communist Party, whatever. They go right back to politics again as usual and keep discussing it. And what I would encourage you to do is to think outside of the box. And by outside of the box, I mean your personal box. We all tend to do this. We build this box. We have this set of beliefs that we ascribe to. They're not knowledge. We think they are, but then they turn out to be just beliefs. And we attach these things to ourselves. And so they're in our box. They're on the walls of our box, and the lid is closed. I'm asking you to please open up the lid of your box. Be willing to, not to accept, but to listen to everything. You can shake your head. You can say, oh, that's ridiculous. I get that, but at least listen to it and understand why somebody else believes the way they do. Why does one person hold so tightly to the Republican Party and another person who seems to be equally intelligent and experienced holds so tightly to the Democrat Party? What's going on that, this doesn't make sense. They can't both be right and they can't both be wrong either. There's got to be something here that's going on inside of that. And I want to encourage you just to open up the roof of your box, open up that lid, and let in somebody else's beliefs. Listen to what they have to say and try to understand why they feel the way they do, and maybe even understand why you feel the way you do. I think this is an important step to take. If you can't say to yourself, I might not know, I might not be right, you're going to struggle all through life. You will struggle. So I would encourage you to, not saying to give up your beliefs, not yet anyway. I'm asking you to please just give things a chance. To me, this is what being open-minded is. Open-minded means I might not know. I might not be right. I could be completely wrong. That's open-minded. Saying that, well, I'm open-minded, and as long as you shut up and listen to me and do what I tell you to do, then you're going to be okay. That's not open-minded. So I'm asking you to think about things. If you've studied the Twin Towers coming down, and you said, hey, something's wrong here. We're being lied to. If you're studying the moon hoax videos, and you say, something's very wrong here, I think you need to take a few minutes to sit down and think, and just think about this. If they would lie about either of those things, or of something else that you've studied, whether it's chemtrails or immunizations, the whole political system, the school system, any of these things, if you've studied them and you're convinced that you've been lied to in one area, then start thinking to yourself, what else might they have lied about? If they could pull this off, this enormous lie, what else would they lie about? And then start thinking why. And I think those are the three important things are why, how, and who. And go over in your head, who might have done such a thing as this? Why would they do this? And don't just take your answer and say that's what it is and go with it. Let your mind work around it and look at it from different angles and different perspectives, and try to understand things. Why have we been told that the pyramids were built in a certain way that we now look at and we say, well, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. And we've been told this for how many years now? 100 years or something like that. And we'll go more into these things, into these individual things in detail. But for now, I just want you to think outside of your own box. Try to think about outside of your own box. Sorry, I'm not great at this. I'm going to read a little story here. This is a book called Fables. Let me see if you can see this. Yeah, Fables. And I want to read this to you, because this is a book we got for PJ at the library just last week. And it's excellent. The artwork in it is fun. I'm going to read this story here called The Elephant and His Son. The Elephant and His Son. Pop is there smoking his cigar or pipe. I can't remember which, but I'm going to read this to you. The Elephant and His Son. The elephant and his son were spending an evening at home. Elephant's son was singing a song. "You must be silent," said Father Elephant. "Your papa is trying to read his newspaper. Papa cannot listen to a song while he is reading his newspaper." "Why not?" asked Elephant's son. "Because Papa can think about only one thing at a time. That is why," said Father Elephant. Elephant's son stopped singing. He sat quietly. Father Elephant lit a cigar and went on reading. After a while, Elephant's son asked, "Papa, can you think about only one thing at a time?" "Yes, my boy," said Father Elephant. "That is correct." "Well then," said Elephant's son, "you might stop thinking about your newspaper and begin to think about your slipper that is on your left foot." "But my boy," said Father Elephant, "Papa's newspaper is far more important and interesting and informative than the slipper that is on his left foot." "That may be true," said Elephant's son, "but while your newspaper is not on fire from the ashes of your cigar, the slipper that is on your left foot certainly is." Father Elephant ran to put his foot in a bucket of water. Softly, Elephant's son began to sing again. The moral of the story is knowledge will not always take the place of simple observation. And that's what I'm asking for this week. Observe. And don't just observe, but take a few minutes to think. Sorry, the sun is making fun of here. I could move. Observe the world around you, and take just a few moments to think about it. Always question why have things been done the way they've been done? Who would do it, and how did they pull it off? And then hopefully Next week should be very interesting. We should have both of us here, which will help because it serves to the banter, the talk, the discussion serves to stimulate the conversation, make it more interesting. So next week, if we're lucky, anyway, my partner will be joining me. You folks take care. Have a wonderful Sunday, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.